What's up, everybody? Welcome. Happy Friday. It is the end of another glorious week here in NFT land. And it's time, as always, for the evening alpha. I am your host, Todd Wanish, 26-year veteran of the comic and animation industry. Year veteran, a little over a year veteran of the NFT space, which makes me like an OG or something, because we live in a crazy freaking time and a crazy freaking space. Welcome. As always, we are here every night, almost every night, when we're not doing AMAs or pretty much everything else. We are here to discuss all the news and all the updates in the NFT space. What makes this different than all of the other YouTube channels out there? Well, for one, I am not a YouTuber by trade, I guess, although if you do it every night, you kind of are, aren't you? Is what my life has come to? No, I guess I kind of am a YouTuber now, but not by trade and not on purpose. What I am as a founder, I am the founder of Adult Fantasy, which is designed by a team of industry veterans from Marvel Entertainment, from Cartoon Network, and Adult Swim. What we do is we pair community members, who we affectionately call adults, with world-class storytellers to develop prominent Web3 character franchises for utilization and entertainment and licensing and publishing. We're basically going after the throat of Marvel, just right at them. Our belief is that Marvel, aka Disney, doesn't know what the hell they're doing anymore. They've lost their way. They have no ability to do what we're doing, nor would they ever want to, as what we do is allow you and us to partner together to create things together, to reap the benefits and the rewards together. So if you ever wanted to know what it was like to possibly own the next Spider-Man or the next Batman, that's what Adult Fantasy is. Marvel and DC and Disney and Warner Brothers, they ain't never gonna let you have. They ain't never gonna happen. They never gonna happen. Only here. So that is one of the main things that we do that other people don't do. And because of that background in creation and launching products and launching NFT properties, we have a little bit of a different take on the news of the day. You're probably never going to hear me shill the top 5 NFT projects that you're going to get today, and 5 tools you need to know to make $1,000 a day, or whatever. Every other thumbnail out there. Does that mean I'll hit 1 million followers? Probably not, but at least it's real. So we have a lot of wonderful things going on tonight. We got some good stuff in the news. And before we do that, I want to jump in, check out chat, see how you guys are doing. Man, we got a crowd. What's up, Massive? Can you tell me about the utility of your project's NFTs? I could, but then I'd have to kill you. J-Rod, Todd, what's your art utility? Again, I could show you, but then, you'd probably tell everybody. Willie D, utility, please. Number 2 utility. So Willie D is number 1 utility. J-Rod is number 2 utility. Dusty's wondering what utility is. Utility. You guys are blowing up chat with utility. This is actually an interesting question. Before we even jump into the articles, man, it's a pretty interesting thing. Share some examples of what you consider utility. I need my utilities paid for, sir. Don't we all? Oh man, Master says usually good at ground balls and pop-ups. Yeah, that's true. Galooby, oh, big boy time. What's up, Galooby? Welcome. Hey, Master Chef, what's up? How you doing? What it is? The reluctant YouTuber, absolutely. Man, I should use that as my byline. It's like, it really is true. It's like, well, I'm not a YouTuber and I never plan to be, and but then you're like, well, I'll just do it, every night, and that's fine. Like, that doesn't make you a YouTuber. Get the likes up. That's right. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the notification button, because I'm definitely not a YouTuber. Carrots, just got here. Heard this is where I get some utility. Number 3 utility, please. Galooby, I am the utility. Utility is... I got to tell you, man. So I had a conversation with a community manager who I believe is also a co-founder of a project today, and the issue of utility came up in conversation, and I was talking to him because I'm curious as to how other communities handle bringing people together and engagement and providing, opportunity and all of this. It's always smart to reach out and talk to people just to see if there's something you're missing. Everybody has good ideas, everybody. And certainly I learned a couple things and took some stuff away from it, which was excellent. But we started to talk about utility. And as I mentioned to this person, I said, when we jumped into the space last year, the word utility really fucked me up, in all honesty, because I'd certainly heard of the term, but I come from the startup world and people don't talk about utility. They talk about benefits. They talk about features. They talk about benefits. And one of the classic tales in startup land is that you never want to talk about the features. You want to talk about the benefits, meaning most companies, like a vast majority, that don't necessarily have a strong strong business background, meaning not education in business, but actual production, serial entrepreneurship, launching products, launching services, launching companies. A lot of these young companies and entrepreneurs will try to sell people on the features, meaning what it has, what it can do. That's not the way to do it, though. It never sells. It might sell for a short time, but you learn real quick that people do not care what it can do or what it has. And you see this all the time with roadmaps. Like the modern roadmap is a feature list. You're going to get a Discord role. You're going to get, this or that. You insert copy paste of most, modern roadmaps for NFT projects here. And that's on its own, it's okay, right? But you're selling features. Instead, you need to sell the benefits. What do I get? What do people get out of it, right? And so when we came into the NFT space and I heard the term utility, it really confused me because I'm not used to that term in context of building a business. And I was like, what the fuck do they mean by utility? And I was doing all my research and studying and jumping into different groups and the best that I could get out of people were like, yeah, well, it's what you get. It's what it's going to do. What is this thing going to do? And that was really confusing to me because I associate that with a feature. And I said, that's not it. Like, there's no, you're not going to tell me that all of business is about the benefits, not the features. And then tell me that NFTs breaks that rule by saying, no, it's the features, what it can do. And what I realized, and it took me a lot longer than it probably should have, but utility in NFTs. We use the term utility like we use the term alpha. Alpha just means information. It's just a fun way to say information or, inside information or whatever. Utility is just a fun way of saying benefits, and benefits is just a fun way of saying value. Really, what at the end of the day we're talking about is value. What is it that this NFT can provide me in the way of value? For a lot of people, it's monetary, right? Hey, I just want an ROI, especially we'll even talk with crypto. That's why people jump into crypto. Hey, this project looks cool. If I buy it at, $1.50, maybe it goes up to $3 and there's the value. With NFTs, that value has a completely different mode of operation because there's so many different things that it can do, right? It's not just about art, although it could be. It's not just about the utility, quote unquote utility, or it could be. So what is utility and how can it be utilized in a way that can kind of bind us together and bring us together, especially as a community? It's important that the thing that binds us has an intrinsic value, right? Not just airdrops or apparel or all of the tchotchkes that certainly can have a tremendous monetary value as a collectible, right? That's certainly important, but it needs to be something beyond that. There still needs to be a glue that binds people together towards a cause that's bigger than just the ROI. Otherwise, you're going to make some cash and you're going to bounce, right? Or you're not going to make cash and you're going to bounce. Either way, like, your time in that community is going to be short-lived. So I think if for everybody here, for everyone that is a part of a of many different NFT projects. If you look at the ones that you think are the best, the ones that you absolutely love, I know Adult Fantasy's at the top of your list, but number two, think of number two. Like, they really have an amazing way of building teams and building community and moving the unit together to create a universal value. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about. And I found an article that I think sheds some light on this, or at least kind of continues this discussion in a creative way. Let's see what we say. Let's see what people are saying here. We've got J-Raw. The utility of carrots are better eyesight. What utility? What is the utility of a penis? I don't know, but according to I think was it Galubi? I think according to the lore games, the utility of penis is a Shigina. Was that it, Galubi? That's all Galubi. Ask him. Bother him. I don't know. I'm just saying I'm just repeating what he said. It's all his fault. Jara says the AF coin will be named utility. See, that's actually good. I like that. The utility token. Just call it utility. That's actually pretty smart. I like that. Mastiff, can I open my door with your NFT? Oh, that'd be dope. What if I could open your door with my NFT? Well, to be to be fair, I used to open doors with credit cards. Like when my mom used to lock me out of the house, I used to just pull out like a old Metro card style thing, or like an old credit card that was like made of plastic, and I used to jimmy the door open. I mean, just my house. I swear to God, never anything else. I swear. All right, let's check out what we got today. Let's see this article here. So this is from NFT Now. The NFT community is split over the utility of art. And so this is kind of what I found this. I have not read it. We read it together. It's going to be a cold read. I just found it fascinating. It's a great springboard, because traditional art has always had a problem with utility, right? Because art exists to be art. And theoretically, it's not necessarily to have any more utility than that. So let's see what they say. What is a non-fungible token, NFT? It's a vehicle that helps us support creators and circulate songs, photos, images, and other digital artworks that inspire us. Is an NFT a digital asset to be used for profit? Is it both? Once, NFTs were a subculture about community. Once, like it is not about that anymore. Now they hold a unique position at the intersection of the finance, tech, and creative industries, and exist in a class of their own. I mean, it still has a subculture about community. It's all about community. Otherwise, name one finance, tech, creative industry that doesn't have a Discord server, for God's sakes. Like, I think everybody understands you got to have a community associated with it, and it's got to be a subculture. But okay, we'll let that slide. Ultimately, NFTs hold this unique position because they can be attached to a wide and diverse array of songs, gaming assets, photographs, videos, event tickets, and even real-world physical assets like yachts. As a result, they have brought together a remarkably diverse range of communities and industries, all with vastly different backgrounds, goals, and values, including opening Mastiff's door. Yeah, I mean, as a result, they've brought together a remarkably diverse range of communities and industries, all with vastly different backgrounds, goals, and values. Sure, of course. All right. So far, so good. And this week, value became a major topic of debate within the NFT ecosystem. All right. Specifically, the upheaval is centered on the utility of art NFTs, on tokens that feature photography, music, poems, and so on. Is the value of these kinds of NFTs inherently tied to the piece of digital art represented within the token, or is the value the incentives, financial or otherwise, or what we would call value, that is offered to those that are offered to those who own the token? These are just a few of the questions being asked by artists, collectors, and developers. Here's where this is coming from, and I don't know if the article covers this, but the problem that the market has right now is that one-of-one art is not as hot as it was last year. Last year, one-of-one art was on fire with art blocks. Like, everything art blocks put out was just rocketed to the top. We had Fidenza. I mean, there's just a ton of pieces that blew up last year. And you had one-of-one maxis talking about, this is the future, fine art. This is the way, right? The problem is that right now, in the cycle that we're in, one of one art is not moving as much. And let me be clear, this shit is cyclical. Like 6 months from now, there's going to be another article, maybe even on NFT Now. I like their site, so who knows? But there'll probably be an article by someone on NFT Now talking about one of one art is the future of NFTs and utility, condensed into one of one art. So this is where this is coming from, is that the one-on-one art is not faring so well. And in my opinion, one of the reasons that it's not faring so well at the moment is because one-of-one art or one-of-one NFTs is squarely in the realm of fine art. That's what it is. I mean, most one-of-one artists are fine artists by trade. They call themselves fine artists. They do gallery shows. They're using their one-of-one art on OpenSea as a gallery exhibition. They're selling works and they have collectors like we do. The problem is that is an established market. So what I mean by that is that the one-of-one fine art market, regardless of the medium, regardless of how it's distributed, that rule set is already baked in. It's been baked in for 200, 300 years. Like, the art market's been around a minute and it's been unregulated. You think NFTs and crypto being unregulated is a thing? NFTs or fine art has so much money in it. It's been so elite for so long by so many oligarchs that it's remained unregulated. It is, outside of NFTs / crypto, it is the only unregulated market on planet Earth. And you don't see anybody talking about regulating fine art. You see everybody talking about regulating crypto and NFTs. At the end of the day, fine art will remain an unregulated market, period. Why? Because that's every single family and every single person that has power, that controls the levers of power, has their finances tied up in investments in art, period. They're not going to tax themselves and they're not going to regulate themselves. They're going to regulate you. They're going to regulate me. They're not going to touch themselves or their family. That's the way it works. All over the world, it's been like that for a couple hundred years. It ain't going to change. Like, since medieval times, right? Friday night, got the wine. So the fine art market has been established for centuries. And the way it works is that the value is intrinsic to the creation of the work, but it's really set up through the marketing of the collector base and the dealers. Meaning that the dealers and the collectors create a story around the artist and use that as a marketing tool to drive the value and the perceived value, I should say, of the art and the artist, right? The artist has a mythos. They generate a mythos or a mythology, a storyline around the artist and the work. And this can lead to extreme wealth. So that is how the basic, there you go. There's your TLDR in the art world. The value of art is in the enjoyment one gets from viewing the work and in the return of selling the work at a profit. It's a collectible, right? It's very similar to NFTs. It is not an investment, although you can invest in it. You can say that, I guess, I think. But it's a collectible, right? It's that's why it can be unregulated. So on its surface, it seems very simple. The problem with one-of-one art is that it falls into the realm of NFTs. NFTs, most of the industry of NFTs puts extreme value and attention and love and purchasing power towards the projects that have a project that does something, right? That's kind of the other side of that utility coin, where value can be defined in a lot of different ways, but in the NFT space, it is action based. What do I get? More airdrops, more things. So you move the value kind of pushes its way a little towards the features, but again, you're never selling the features. You have to sell the value and the community and kind of provide the features as an additional thing. So one of one art just sits there. It has no roadmap. It doesn't do anything. And the challenge, in my opinion, even without going to the rest of the article here, at least yet, is that one of one art, because one of one NFT art is in the realm of fine art, what you're really betting on, the value play that you're betting on is this artist going to be shown at Gagosian Gallery, at the blue chip galleries, right? Is this artwork going to be shown at Christie's, at Sotheby's, at Phillips, right? Does this work have a chance at being displayed in Art Basel? Because if you are buying one of one digital work that is considered fine art and not more in the game side, more on the Bored Ape Yacht Club, community, fashion brand, lifestyle brand, play to earn, whatever, play and earn, whatever you call it, whatever you want to call it, because there's every model. If it's not that side, if it's not the commercial side, if it's focused on the fine art side, then you're betting on the fine art side, meaning, will this artist get recognized inside of the art market? Will they get known? Will they have the shows? Will they do the thing? This is why the fine artists can hop in. Damien Hirst can hop in and do currency and some other things. Jeff Koons is now, my old boss, is now hopping in. He's got like an artwork that's going to the moon, and they're going to sell an NFT around that. Murakami jumps in and he's got his stuff. Urs Fischer jumps in and has his stuff. Daniel Arsham jumps in and has his stuff. And all of that stuff sells. Why? Because they've already played that game and they've already won that game. There's no betting against that. They're not going to lose their space in the Guggenheim, right? They're not going to lose their space in the Whitney Biennial by doing an NFT. If anything, it's going to increase the chance that they can have that space. So that, in my opinion, without even having to read the rest of it, that's where I would say the problem lies with artists in these one-of-one space. So, but I digress. I digress. Let's see what they actually have to say about this. Specifically, the upheaval is centered on the utility of art NFTs, on tokens that feature photography, music, poems, and so on. I read this, but we'll keep going. Is the value of these kinds of NFTs inherently tied to the piece of digital art represented within the token? Or is the value of the incentives, financial or otherwise, that are offered to those who own the token? These are just a few of the questions being asked by artists, collectors, and developers. This discussion stems from First Day Out, a recent NFT release from prominent photographer and crypto artist Isaac Drift Wright. First Day Out was minted on Drift's customized Manifold smart contract as an ERC 721. Shout out to Richard at Manifold; they're doing great work. Collectors who already had NFTs featuring Drift's work were able to mint early, and public minting was then opened for a period of 24 hours. The project raised millions, and then things got heated. Boring Ape says, Drifter Shoots sold a breathtaking picture to 10,400 investors. There's your first problem. Investors for over 6.4 million, and now tells them to go get the fuck out, basically. GTFO. If you just want to sell a picture, sell the picture. Why sell an NFT? You are just exploiting crypto NFT investors for liquidity. See, there you go. The story that the market now has, which is interesting because it didn't have this last year. The story that the market now has is that NFTs need to have utility, aka value, associated with what a traditional NFT launch has. Something else other than just the thing that it is. Let's see. Galubi says, what is the utility of a community? The utility of a community can be pretty deep. It can be mission based. I think that's why you look at the DAO, like DAOs. Basically, if you want to take a community and magnify it to its greatest aspect, you have a DAO right now, and communities can be driven to do great, meaningful change, or to move large purposes. For instance, even though it didn't work, you take like Constitution DAO, where an entire group of people got together to essentially try and bid and win a copy of the Constitution at auction, right? So that community worked together to buy and own, I guess they would have fractionalized a piece of the Constitution, right? The utility of adult fantasy is that we are all partial owners in the future of the next version of the Marvel universe, right? We are together going to create the stories and lore that end up dominating the future of media. And I'm hell-bent on it, and I know how to do it because I've done it before. So the ability to build a community and put that community to work so that we can all benefit from the sweat of that work is utility, or it certainly can be utility. It's not the only way to do it. Fine art's a way to evade taxes, so fine art's never going to get a strict punch down. Yeah, it can be, but it's also an investment. So is buying a home, right? Like, it's an asset class, right? So certainly there are people that buy it to evade taxes. However, I would argue that from my experience having worked in fine art at a very high level, that when someone spends $8 million on a painting or a sculpture or more, the guy I worked with was selling sculptures for $80 million, like $80 million. Those people already know how to evade taxes. You don't really need to spend $80 million to avoid paying taxes. Like, that's not really, most people don't spend $80 million to avoid taxes. But I understand your point. It certainly is a way to not pay taxes, but I don't know if that's necessarily the reason people do it. There's way better ways. People buy yachts to avoid taxes too, right? J-Rock, community utility equals networking. 100%, absolutely true. Hey, Hype, welcome. Master Chief, you can't live in art. This is true. You can't live in art. Well, I'm wondering if you could challenge that. Yeah, for the most part, unless it was like a sculpture or a installation piece, I guess. I'm sure there's someone who's tried. There's a lot of weird shit out there. Master Chief, unless it's modern art and it's trash can. So we were both thinking the same thing. Yeah, for real. There you go. For sure. Absolutely. So Boring Ape is a little upset here. He's like, look, this guy's got 6.4 million and now tells them to get the fuck out. If you just want to sell a picture, sell the picture. Why sell it in an NFT? Right? Basically, it's like, look, an NFT, we want more than just a picture, which is very interesting because that's not the way the market has been up to this point, in my humble opinion. Why is the NFT community split over utility? This entire discussion surrounding Drift's First Day Out collection comes down to one word: utility. Utility is a major buzzword within the NFT ecosystem. Broadly speaking, the utility of an NFT refers to the usefulness, profitability, and benefit. They actually use the word benefit that it affords its owner. The utility of an NFT can be a multitude of things: membership to an exclusive community, or a DAO. Look at that. It's like we knew what we were talking about. A ticket to a virtual or physical event, and much more. With the rise of the PFP NFT market, it has become commonplace to base the value of a project on its roadmap, deliverables, and community initiatives rather than the quality of art itself or the artist. To be fair, a lot of that is because finding quality art isn't fucking hard, right? If like unless you're someone like me that's put in I put in my 10,000 hours into drawing by the time I was 15. So, and then I did it professionally like most of my life. So, and I'm still not I'm not even saying that I'm great. You know what I mean? Like, there are people that blow me out of the water. Like, I could name 1,000 people that blow me out of the water. But, finding quality of the art itself is, one, it's in the eye of the beholder, and two, it's incredibly hard to find an artist who has the experience of a professional, right? It's very difficult. So it becomes one way around that becomes adding just mega utilities that people don't care what the NFT looks like, right? So what happened? Why is this discussion resurfacing now? That's actually a really good question. As noted, Drift had a 24-hour public sale. In the NFT ecosystem, this kind of sale is known as a limited open edition. It's basically a free-for-all where anyone can purchase an edition of the same NFT for a certain amount of time. Drift sold over 10,000 NFTs by the close of the sale, raking in more than 6 million. What was that? I wonder what that was in ETH. I'll have to figure that out. If it was 6 million, he must have sold it for, what was that, like point? It wasn't half an ETH. No, I can't do math live is hard. I'll have to do some research and figure out exactly what the piece sale was. That also might have a fact. The reason I'm thinking about that is because if it was like 0.05, nobody would have a problem with it. If it was 1 ETH, people are going to have a problem with it. In response, or they could have a problem with it, I guess. In response, some collectors started to ask Drift about what comes next, i.e. what utility he plans to add. Free airdrops, live meet and greets to reward those who supported him. However, Drift has been adamant that he doesn't owe anyone who buys his work anything. Well, if you're going to be a dick about it, if you're going to be a jackass about it, come on, man. To him and many others within the NFT community, art can just be for art's sake. It doesn't need to have any underlying utility beyond that. Others are underwhelmed by this ideology. They believe NFT creators should support the community by giving back, especially when their project is so fantastically successful. Here, before I give you my opinion on this, Hype says, I saw your scribble. Yeah. Remind me not to play with you again. Oh, please. Come on. You're wonderful. I know. You're just kidding. I know. Gilby says, oh, click. It won't let me click on your thing. That's weird. So it's frozen on my side. Now I can't unhide things. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Try it again. There we go. Oh, shit. Internet. Gilby says the gas for that transaction must have killed him. Yeah, something was there. Something was up. So I'm wondering, here's the thing. I think there's two problems for this guy has. And this is just a guess. I don't know. It's pure speculation. First, to sell 10,000 pieces and get $6 million means that it was probably, I don't know, brain, was it 2 ETH? Right? If it was like $6,000 times 10,000 pieces. So it must have been like a pretty hefty buy-in to sell the work, right? This wasn't like a 0.05 drop. This was like expensive. And on top of that, the reason he's having this problem, I'm going to guess, again, I don't know, but based on the reaction, I'm going to guess that he did not have a disclaimer on his site that says, I don't have a roadmap. There is no roadmap, right? This work is buying the work. You are buying the work. Please do not expect a roadmap. There may not be anything, blah, 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 blah. Dusty says it was 0.2 ETH to mint. Okay, yeah. So a little higher than normal, right? That's for an art piece. That's actually kind of high. Not out of this world high, but not 0.02 or not 0.05, not 0.08. 0.2 is not, I would say it's a little on the high end, but not out of the world. With that said, though, again, he could have avoided this whole thing if he had just had a disclaimer. You're buying the art for the art's sake. There may not be a roadmap associated with this drop. And the reason I'm saying this is because I have seen another artist whose work that I like, who's actually been getting collected a little bit. His prices, he didn't sell it for 0.2. It's like 0.01, but I love the work. And he was very clear on his site that said, there's no roadmap. I don't have one. I'm an artist. There's no roadmap. And I'm like, you know what? I respect that. And now that he actually did well in this first launch, now he's actually thinking about launching a new product. So it's a bonus. It becomes under promise and over deliver, where this guy, people were expecting something from it, right? Galubi says, that seems pretty sketch, honestly, mate. It doesn't fall into false advertising, but that's quite a dick move. It really is. Yeah, it's not false advertising, I agree, but it definitely seems like he could have been more clear. I'm trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. Do I think he was trying to rip people off? No. But what is a dick move is if he's actually saying that he doesn't, it's not quoted. So I only have what the article's going on, right? I only have this. It says, adamant that he doesn't owe anyone who buys his work anything. If that's his language, we're going to look at some of these tweets. If that's his language, he can suck it, because that's a dick move. That's absolutely a dick move. But assuming that that's a little, I'm trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. He certainly could have had at this point, he could have had a disclaimer. He could have said, there is no roadmap. You're buying it for art, is for art's sake. If you want utility, please go somewhere else. I won't be offended. When we did our launch, we were so fucking transparent. We didn't even do a blind drop. We didn't even do a reveal, even though we knew that the easiest way for us to get validated and verified on OpenSea motivates you to hit 100 ETH in transactions and liquidity, because you get that, at 100 ETH, I think it is, you get the little blue check mark that you're an official thing and everybody wants it, just like Twitter, right? The easiest way to do that, because that's the goal, the easiest way to do that is to do a blind drop, because the price goes up. What happens? The price goes up as everyone speculates that they get the rare thing, and then so everyone's trading up, and then when it opens, when it drops, when it reveals, the price comes down because everyone's trading because they didn't get the good thing, right? That's instantly the most basic, easy way to get 100 ETH in transaction volume, right? But we didn't do that. We said, this is exactly what you're going to get. We said, here's the technology. If you're a flipper, you're probably not going to like this, because it's going to take 4 years for you to know the true value of your card, because it's changing every day. Just letting you know, we hope everybody enjoys it. We want everybody in. However, if you're a flipper, you may want to consider this in your decision, right? We actively pushed people away who probably wouldn't have been happy, right, if they bought it and said, what do you mean I have to wait 4 years? Like that would have been horrible. That would have been horrible. Galubi says, especially in a place where the next step is a constant. 100%. 100% agree. Dusty, as per the Mint website, no mention of no utility, just a description of the work. So he gave a description of the work. Good research, Ben. He gave a description of the work, but I think he could have done better and said no utility. Again, I'm not making that up. I've seen other artists say, I don't have a roadmap. There is no roadmap. This is it. Maybe I do something, maybe I don't. Non-committal here. Buy it, buyer, do your own research, buyer beware. Let's see what he said here. So this is where the debate stems from. Is it right for Drift to make that much money without giving anything back to his collectors? It is. Does he have to be a dick about it? No. Should he be more clear about it? 100%. Or does he truly have no obligation because the art itself is the utility and the benefit? Here's a sample of what the community is saying. Ravi Vora says, as artists, our entire lives are dedicated to our art. The utility is that you get to own a piece of that. Pretty remarkable, really. Sure. Billy Ellis says, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I haven't got a roadmap. I can't promise you riches if you buy my art, and I don't know what utility you expect of me. But that won't stop me from releasing art in all the mediums that I am exploring and push myself further. See? You see what he did there? Big disclaimer. I don't have a roadmap. I am not promising you riches. I can't do anything for you. All I can do is provide you my work and hope you enjoy it. Right? That is enough for people to buy his work because he's being straight up about it. Drift says, stop asking artists for utility. Stop asking artists for utility. And just repeats that. Do you see the difference in tone? Right? There's a difference in tone. Right? There's a difference between someone that says, the utility is that you get to own a piece of my art, or I haven't got a roadmap. I can't promise you riches or anything. I don't know what you expect from me. However, it's not going to stop me from giving you all I've got. These guys, this is completely night and day. Stop asking artists for utility and repeating it like it's the chalkboard from The Simpsons is kind of a dick move. Mr. Josko says artists want to charge 10x as much as traditional artists, then get mad when the people ask for utility. If you're going to play in Web3 sandbox with Web3 prices, then you need to play by Web3 rules. See, maybe it was the price. People said there's something here because the price is high. People opted in. There is a psychological thing. When the price is higher, people expect more value and they expect you to be doing things. You want to create only lower price or sell physicals. And then again, a lot of this is his attitude from this tweet, in my opinion. Not gonna make it says, I don't agree with you. This is a market and most of us aren't. This is a market. Most of us aren't millionaires that can afford to lock away crazy amounts of money on JPEGs. It's on the artist to make his collection worth more every year, if by making utility or being active on Twitter or having a great story. I agree on that. What do you guys think? Let's see. Hype says, Smiles used to say that. Oh, okay. They still keep it pretty generic. Sabbath said art is the utility. Right, but at least they're saying it. Right, Sabbath? Yep. Like, at least they're publicly coming out and saying it. And it's the way you frame it, right? I'll give you another example. So there was an artist, I'm not going to mention any names. There's an artist in the space who's really well regarded. He does like video art NFTs. And his stuff, I saw it early last year and I wanted to buy it. And at the time I felt it was too expensive for me. And I watched it over the course of last year. Everything the guy did just blew up. And I was like, oh, why didn't I buy it? Like, I love his stuff. And it really wasn't that expensive. It was just expensive for me at the time as a newbie, because I hadn't fully bought into the whole ETH thing at the time. And it just, everything got so out of reach for me. And I was like, fuck, man, I missed my opportunity. And then he dropped a project that was a parody of Loot. So I don't know if you guys remember Loot coming out, but he dropped, all of a sudden there was a bunch of parodies and derivatives of Loot, and he made one. And I was like, oh my God, now's my chance. Because I really love this guy's stuff. I think he's really fucking good. And so I dove in. Like, I got the mint, I got a piece. It had a sense of humor to it. It was funny as hell. I was like, I'm in, I got it, I'm good. And then somebody asked him, his other pieces had utility, all of them. And somebody asked him what he was going to do with this work. And part of the other reason why I jumped into the work is because a percentage of it was going to a charity. I was like, awesome. I love the guy's work. I get to finally collect them. I get to get on Mint, and part of it's going to a charity. That's fantastic. I couldn't ask for anything better. And he said, so somebody said, hey, what are you planning to do with this? Do you have any plans for the future? And what this artist did was completely fudded his own work. He was like, what? Oh no, that was a joke. It doesn't mean anything. Like, I just did that for charity and it doesn't have anything to do with my other work. And yeah, no, dude, sorry. You bought what you bought. You bought it to help a good cause, and that was it. Right? And I, as a buyer, as a collector, was fucking furious. I was like, yeah, I bought it to help a good cause, but I bought it because it was your work. Like, you made it. I finally got to buy a piece of yours. And here he is all of a sudden saying, well, it's just a joke. I just did it for charity. It's not, I'm not taking responsibility. Whoa, yeah, you bought it because of charity, but it's not a thing. It's not really real. Like, instantly he murdered the entire collection. Like, everybody dumped it. Instant dump. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, all of a sudden, like, fortunately I didn't spend a lot of money on it, but it was incredibly hard to sell. I sold it for a loss. And I was just like, wow, I'm never going to buy this artist's work again. Like, I don't care. I haven't looked at his work since. He's still fantastic. I'm sure he's going to be one of those dudes that actually does make it to the Whitney, and so, his work is going to be on auctions. I have no doubt about it. But I'm never going to touch his work again because he was a dumbass. Like, why would you do that to people who bought your work? Who cares even if it's 100% for charity? Like, just play the game and say that you appreciate the people who bought your work, whether it was a parody or not, and just say that it's part of what it doesn't even have to have utility. No, nobody that bought this thing expected utility. It was like 5 words, parody words on a JPEG, parroting Loot. And it was funny. Like, it was a joke. People bought it because it was a meme of Loot by a guy who was a really good artist. That's all it had to be. You could have just been like, yeah, I really like that work. It was a great series, and I hope people will continue on and help support my work when we release the next one. If you had just said that, those pieces would have been like 5, 10, 15 ETH, like, without question. But to piss on your own work just blew everybody's mind. And so this is kind of the same thing. When you're when you sell something high, or what people perceive as high, in a market where people assume has utility associated with it, or ROI, or value, reciprocity, whatever you want to call it, you have at least some obligation, in my opinion, to have at least a disclaimer. I mean, this is perfect. You could copy paste this. This should be this right here is a disclaimer for everybody. Oh, and now I've lost it. Oh, give me a break. There we go. I haven't got a roadmap. I can't promise you riches if you buy my art, and I don't know what utility you expect from me, but that won't stop me. God damn it. Keep clicking on it. That won't stop me from releasing art in all the mediums that I am exploring and push myself further. That should be the official disclaimer for every art one-of-one piece ever. Because if you saw that on a website and you buy the work, you bought it because you like it. And that's the point, right? Hype says, yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. Hold on for a second. Excuse me. So let's see what he says here. But this is just not a good look, man. It's not the right way to do it. Some thoughts on NFTs and utility. In 2022, the NFT market stands in stark contrast to what it was even a year prior. Ain't that the truth? At the start of 2021, it seemed to be solely about digital art. Artists were finding that NFTs were a new way to sell art and connect with their fans. Collectors were finding that trading NFTs was a new way to collect digital art and accrue a profit. But the truth is, things have changed. Since NFTs went mainstream, a number of new individuals and communities have entered the, and many artists are making this, so are many collectors. Yet it wouldn't be an overgeneralization to say that art, the actual application of creative skill, drawings, paintings, animations, still runs the NFT market. It absolutely does. It's not all money and profit. After all, Bored Apes, Cool Cats, Doodles, Cathsimart, and Drift wouldn't have become successful by selling blank NFTs. But this doesn't mean artists are at the center of the ecosystem. That's that's smart. I think that's important to understand, that it's not just that the art on the NFT isn't the center of the collection, or doesn't have to be. It's that the artist is not at the center of the ecosystem, even though that's what's bought, sold, and traded. I think somebody pointed out that the irony of Moonbirds, the artist who did that still had a collection on Solana that was selling for like dirt cheap in comparison, right? So you've got Moonbirds, which is like what, 30, 40 ETH or whatever it is. And the same artist has another collection that is like dirt cheap, right? In comparison, right? It might be $1,000 or $2,000, which is nothing, but nothing like what Moonbirds is, right? So it just goes to show you, it's not about the artist. It's about, at least in that instance, it ain't about the artist. It's about the collection. But every collection is different. That said, artists have been creating and selling art for hundreds of years. History has shown that art in and of itself has value. Why now must an artist provide more to their collectors than the product of their years of dedication to their craft? Well, it's not that they have to. It's that they have the opportunity to do so. Like, you don't live in the world of Web 2.0 anymore, man. Like, the number one problem that artists have, traditional artists, is that they have zero connection to their collectors. They have zero connection to the market. All of that is handled by the dealers and the gallerists. The gallerists are the ones that corral the collectors. The dealers / gallerists are the ones that have the relationships with the buyers. And what that means is that the artist is completely dependent on these people. Completely. The dealer has all the power, because if the dealer cuts you off, you starve. Like, doesn't matter how much money you made, doesn't matter how much you sold out your last show. If the dealer decides to cut you off, you have no connections. You don't have their email addresses. You don't have their addresses. You might not even have their names. And so you are fucked, right? This is why the best artists, your Kunzes and your Murakamis and your Damien Hirsts, they all have personal relationships with their collectors. They cut out the dealer as soon as they could so that they could take control of their marketplaces and of their careers. And so Now, through Web3 and just the way that the market has structured itself, you as an artist, as a creator, as a business owner, regardless of what your medium is, you have the ability for the first time to have a direct connection to your community, way bigger than Web 2.0. It's not about follower count. It's not about how many people follow you or how on any social platform. It really isn't. Numbers are just vanity metrics. It's about the connections that you make, the personal connections you make with people. I don't know if you guys are familiar with there's a really famous article that came out years and years ago called 1,000 True Fans. You can look it up. It's been written about. It's a brilliant article. The TLDR of it is that basically in Web 2.0, through platforms that would be spawned from the article inspired Kickstarter, Indiegogo, crowdfunding, all of that. And the premise is very simple, which is in Web 2.0, if all you were able to do is generate 1,000 true fans, like literally just 1,000 people on planet Earth who just loved your band, bought your albums, bought your merch, followed you on tour at the time, like you would make a really good living, like 6 figures, more than most bands ever could make in the history of music. And that number, 1,000 true fans, is relatively low when you think about it. There's what, like 3 billion people on Earth, and all you have to do, your job is to only find 1,000 people. That's it. And you will have a very strong career in whatever business opportunity, art, whatever it is, you will be just fine. And now with NFTs and just adding, if all the utility was, in fact, if you look at all this stuff up here, some of these guys are just like talking about like, why don't we just have a meetup? Like, hey, buy my painting NFT and we'll do a once a month art studio tour. I'll open up my studio virtually and I'll let you behind the scenes. We'll talk. I'll give you all the insight on what I'm working on. Basic shit, man, like Patreon level of basic shit. Like, hey, here's what I'm working on. Here's a sketch. Hey, everybody, here's some stuff that's coming out. Here's some sneak peeks. Basic. That in itself is probably for these collectors enough utility that none of this would happen. But saying I don't owe you shit is probably not the way to go about it. And it's just going to hurt this guy in the long run, because when these people leave, when these buyers are gone, he's going to have to find more buyers. $6 million is a lot. It's going to last him for a while. But if he chooses to do it again, he's going to have to find new people, because he's not building a community. He's not using the ability to create a community as the utility mechanism, let alone do anything else. So he's kind of cutting himself off at the knees. It's really sad to see. He's not thinking, or he doesn't give a shit. Whatever. Let's see. It says, again, things have changed. NFTs have changed things. They provided a way for collectors to both own a piece of art and gain access to unique incentives, like meeting the artist maybe, or virtual art tours, or in-person meetups, or whatever. You could offer these people, hey, when you come to New York, you'll have a private invite to my studio, private tour. If you ever come, whatever these, I'm picking New York, but hey, I'm Drift and I live in Brooklyn. Whenever you come into town, hit me up. We'll do a private tour. You can come over. We'll have some wine. We'll have some cheese. We'll hang out. We'll talk about art. We'll talk about anything you want to know about me, about the work. I'll show you some of the stuff I'm working on. Dude, this guy would he would double it. He would double his take, because people would come in. They'd just buy shit straight out of the studio. Obvious stuff. This is just someone who's choosing to be antisocial, in my opinion. They provided a way for artists to make millions from their work and become a rising tide for all ships, to share the wealth with their collectors when their project is successful. These changes brought with them a host of new questions, and it's unlikely that the debate will be settled anytime soon, if ever. The debate that unfurled this week and started to cause ripples will very likely lead to some pretty big waves. Yeah, it's going to go away. I mean, it is what it always is. You know what I mean? Like, you know, artists like Hearst and Koons and Murakami and Daniel Arsham, these guys can launch NFTs and they don't have to say two words to you, and they won't. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing in it for them. They're already at their peak, right? They've already established every single collector that they're ever going to have. Really, this is just icing on the cake. They're doing this so they don't miss out. They're not doing it because they're trying to make a career for themselves. They're already in the history books. So you can't compare apples to oranges. And I think it's actually better. We have such a better opportunity. Like I'm going to be, for me personally, I can't speak for anybody else. I'm going to be building my community in some way for the rest of my life. I waited too long, in my opinion. Really, I wish I was 25. I wish I was 20 years old and doing this, because by the time I was 45 or 46, which I am right now, like it'd be game over. It'd be game over. You know what I mean? And you can tell. Like you look at people who are my contemporaries. You look at Gary Vee. That dude is about my age. Looks a little older, if I may say so. Bro, take a break. But in all seriousness, like that dude busted his ass for 20 fucking years building a community, and now he can do whatever the fuck he wants. He can sell. I mean, his V Friends Series 1 were just his scribbles, and he's not an artist. They were horrible, right? And he made so much capital on there because he had provided so much value to so many people over so many years that it was a no-brainer, and it sold out in a heartbeat. And now Series 2 is coming out, and now he's hired an artist. So it's like Series 1 were the sketches, and now you got the final drafts. It's fucking brilliant. I love it. But that takes effort. And so I would hate to see an artist in the NFT space. I'll leave it with this. I'll sum it up like this. Hey, what's up? Studio is here. Studio 7.62. What's up, Avery? How you doing, brother? Welcome. Galubi says basic networking is a gold mine. The man hasn't realized. Exactly. Like, not building your community now, not doing some basic things now is going to hurt you in the long term in this space. It is not, if you don't want to talk to people, if you really think, if your real opinion is stop asking artists for utility multitudes of times, then go into that's why people are like, well, then go in the traditional art world, bro. Or make an announcement that says, I am not going to talk to you. I'm not going to have utility. Period. Again, Damien Hirst doesn't have to say that because the utility is in the ROI of the sale, because everybody fucking knows Damien Hirst. Everybody knows what Jeff Koons is worth and what happens to Jeff Koons' work. Everybody knows Urs Fischer and what Urs Fischer work sells for. Like, that's the utility. They don't have to talk to you. You're not going to get invited to their shows, right? We literally just did an interview with Axiom Space this week with Tej, and like Tej, they're offering like for $500, buy their NFT for $500, and you can come to the launch of a space rocket where they minted the first NFT in space. Like, and you're not gonna like talk to people. You're not gonna at least like say, yeah, let's do a meetup or a Zoom call. Like, you've got people who can send people to space trying to provide some kind of utility and offering, like, come visit Kennedy Space Center, and you can't find the fucking time to build an audience. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. God bless you for making $6 whatever million, bro. But I think in the long term, it's gonna hurt. You know what I mean? Or you'll change your tune and you'll start doing the right thing, and you'll connect with art. You'll connect with your audience, because all of this comes, these responses, these replies come from people like Boring Ape. This comes from people who actually care about your work. People that hate your guts don't respond this way, or they say something stupid like lick my dick or whatever. Like, people that respond in this regard are trying to help you because they really love your work. You've got fans. You've got people that want a connection with you. So stop asking people to stop asking for utility and just talk to them. Just have some basic shit. It's going to make your life better. You're going to make their lives better. And they're going to want to collect your work, and they're going to want to talk about you, and they're going to want to share and spread the wealth. They're going to want to tell their friends about you. But if you don't do that, if you're just going to sit on your high horse and assume that you're Jeff Koons, then you're going to get got, dude. Like, you're going to get chewed up. Doesn't matter how much money you make, you're going to get chewed up real quick. Because I promise you're not making $80 million like Koons is on every fucking auction yet. You're not Damien Hirst or Murakami. Not yet. Right? And even those guys, guess what? You know what the utility they have? When you come to their openings, they talk to you. They sign their autographs. They say thank you for buying my work. You know how I know? Because I've met them and I've been there. Like, they're not completely cut off. They talk to their collectors. Why? Because their collectors buy stuff from them. So do yourself a favor, man. And any artist out there, any creator, any business owner, like, you gotta get into it. And honestly, speaking for myself, purely from the heart, like, you guys, when I'm in Discord, when we're talking tonight and there's stuff in chat, and I'm in Discord and you're in Discord and we're having a conversation, I laugh more. I have more fun every day talking with you guys than I ever had without Discord, period. And I'm not a big social network dude. I really don't like Facebook. I really don't like Twitter. I don't like Instagram. I like to work on my shit, and I think those are time sucks. I understand marketing. I've done a lot of digital marketing. Just because I use Facebook Ad Manager doesn't necessarily mean I use a social tool. You know what I'm saying? However, with Discord, being in the group with you guys, I laugh all the fucking time. It doesn't matter whether I'm tired. It doesn't matter whether I'm awake. It doesn't matter whether I'm relaxed or stressed out. You guys make me laugh, and we have a great time, right? And I love that. It energizes me. It makes me want to wake up and go to bat, dude. I go to war every day to like, everything is perfect. You know what I mean? Like, our team goes so hard to make sure that we're just going above and beyond, so that when you get new stuff in your hands, you're just like, what? This is the craziest thing. Because you guys energize us. You guys are excited about it, which makes us excited about it, which puts pressure on us, good pressure, to do the right thing and do as much badass stuff and create as many cool things as we possibly can, right? And you're going to see it too. Hopefully you already do. And I think people who have this opinion are missing out. It is not Web 2.0. You can't just sit in your studio and just paint and post. That's also why a lot of people call it a scam, because they post NFTs and they don't sell, and they're like, well, it doesn't work, right? Anyway, that's my soapbox for this evening. What do you guys think? Was this valuable? Huh? There's the question. Did you find utility in this for the evening? Did you find value in this? I hope you did. I love it. I love this. I love talking to you guys. And I love Evening Alpha. I love hanging out. And with that, so two couple things. One, smash the like button, share it, comment, notifications, hit that bell. And we're going to go over to Discord. We're going to do some after party stuff. We're going to hit some games. I won a couple games last night. I have witnesses. I think was it last night? I won a game of mini golf. I won a game of mini golf. I still haven't won a game of lol beans. I still get my ass handed to me. And Dusty says, the art of your enunciation is the utility. That's right. The art of enunciation. Dusty, did you just name my first book where I look like this on the cover? The Art of Enunciation. Anyway, love you guys. Let's head over. We're going to go to Discord. We're going to do an after party. We'll do some games. We're going to hang out. Thank you so much for joining us. happy Friday. I hope you guys have a great weekend. What Willie D says, allegedly won. I remember nothing. Yeah. I know. Willie D. See, Willie, that's because Willie, you're the champ, dude. You're like, you and Dusty, like, I don't understand how much you guys win. It's beyond me. Hey, Dickenzas, what's up? Cheers, man. Dusty says, as long as it's not called lip service. Yeah. I still think we should change the name of General to lip service. It's fucking hilarious. But Dusty overruled me, so I guess I have to live with it. Galubi says, Todd's hat is the ultimate utility. It's true. There's a story behind this hat. Maybe I'll tell you guys the story about the hat next week. See, that's what we call a lead-in. I'm leading you into next week. Tune in next week where you'll find out the history of the hat that I'm wearing. Hype. What's up, Hype? Thank you. Mini golf and lol beans is the utility. That's right. If all Drift did was play mini golf and lol beans with his crew, they would be happy. And it sounds like a joke, but it's actually it's not a joke. Like it's really true. Like just have fun with people, man. It's not that fucking hard. Anyway, guys, I love you very much. Thank you so much. And see you next time. Come over to Discord. Let's continue the party. We're gonna play some games. Hype and I are gonna use our trackpad to try to win mini golf or lol beans, and we'll both be eliminated together. But that's the way it works. All right, guys. Until then, see you next time. Peace out.